Hey, this is C&D Channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my post-fight analysis for Invicta FC 13. Overall, it was a pretty fun card. A couple fights. Well, I'd say maybe just like Hamasaki Tabercio was kind of a grinder, but it wasn't too bad. Otherwise, it was actually just a pretty good card. I wouldn't say a lot of finishes, but, there were some good finishes here and there. Cyborg did her thing. My overall picks were pretty good. I got 5 out of 7 correct. 2 I missed were Hamasaki versus Tabercio and LeBrock versus Shafir. One thing of note is that they announced the main event for their next card in September. Alexa Grasso, or maybe it's the main event. Cyborg said she wanted to fight on this card, but for the Invicta FC strawweight title, Alexa Grasso fights Livia Hinata Souza. Let's just get started. Christian Cyborg Justino defeated Faith Van Doon by TKO 45 seconds in the first round. Really, there's no one at 145 that can challenge Justino. I mean, it's very obvious. I would be very curious to see 135ers fight her at like a catch weight of 140 or even at 135 if possible. From the post-fight interview, it didn't sound like Justino was too enthused about cutting to 135. She's pretty dominant at this weight class. There is just no one out there. There's no prospects out there even. Like, I'd say Amber LeBrock in like 5 years. I don't know if Justino's going to be around for that long. There aren't any prospects at 145. Really. And I even made a fan post article on Bloody Elbow about just the 145-pound division, women's 145-pound division, and it's a thin division. It's hard not to find fighters in their 20s in this division, let alone well-rounded fighters. So she's gonna roll the roast for a very long time. Cyborg is just blasted Van Doon, Dropped her throw a body shot. Didn't really matter. She's just beating her up. That's pretty much Cyborg fights for like ever since we've seen her fight, and she got some real recognition from starting with Elite XC to Strikeforce and now to Invicta FC. I don't think she'll fight like Amber LeBrock next. My guess is if Justino stays at 145 pounds, she fights Latoya Walker, because Latoya Walker's the only one coming off a win off of Peggy Morgan. There's really no one else that's interesting at 145. And like I said, unless Justino just cuts down to 135. For a lot of these fighters, I won't say who should they fight next. Like, who's Faith Van Doon going to fight next? I don't know. Like, honestly, it's not deep enough to really say who they're going to fight next. I'll say champions. I'll make predictions for champions, who the champions should fight next. But otherwise, it's really tough to say for a lot of these fighters. Next fight after that. Excuse me. Tanya Evinger defeated Irene Aldana by TKO in the 4th round. Yeah, Evinger's really put it all, just really put it all together. There's the thing with Evinger, which is always said about her, is like, whatever goes on in her personal life affects her in her how she performs in the cage. The only problem with that saying is that if you actually look at her losses, like pretty much every loss, I think it's like Alexis Davis twice, Gina Carano, Sarah McMahon, and I forgot who else. it's like she's only lost to top fighters. So I don't even know if that's necessarily true, or if she just lost to better fighters. She's really putting everything together these days. I mean, her striking isn't great, but it got to a point where Evinger was just going for like the most high risk takedown, even if she's giving up her back and just has like a whizzer, and still getting it, you know, and still getting the takedown. That armbar in the first round that she got on Aldana, fight ending right there. Aldana's just a little too tough for her own good. Yeah, you know, this is good stuff from Evinger. Just managed to take her down, past the mount at will, past the dominant positions at will, ground and pound. It was pretty constant from Evinger. Aldana didn't really have much. She wasn't even throwing her right hand very much. Aldana's still one of the top prospects in women's bantamweight, especially since there really aren't many prospects in the division. Still young. She can come back. I don't know how well she's going to do against others that will try to take her down. But otherwise, you know, if it's a striking match, Aldana could definitely get ahead there. As far as Evinger should fight next, 2 fights make sense to me, unless I'm missing some people here, but Penny Kianzad or Raquel Palui should be next against Evinger. Yeah, both of them are coming off wins. So, fight makes sense. With Aldana, I mean, I don't know who should fight next. There aren't many. It's like, let's fight Caitlin Young or like Jessie Jess or something like that. You know, just someone coming off a loss at 135. Next fight after that, Ayaka Hamasaki defeated Herika Tiburcio by split decision. Should have been a unanimous decision, really, for Hamasaki. One problem with this was that Kim Winslow was constantly standing them up when Hamasaki was on top. As a grinder, you know, I mean, I should have, you know, it's funny. Before Herika became champion, she was actually supposed to fight Hamasaki Tiburcio. So to fight Hamasaki. I picked Hamasaki for this reason, how she won this fight. I thought she was just a more technically sound fighter and a more less risk averse. You know, she's not going to leave many openings and whatnot. I thought that Tiburcio's aggression would pull her through in this fight, but she got shut down. You know, she's even eating some left hands as well from Hamasaki, and Tiburcio did manage to get some good strikes on Hamasaki, but ultimately Hamasaki was a much better wrestler. Tiburcio has like next to no takedown defense. I think Tiburcio is a little too content off her back and to scramble, and Hamasaki was having none of that. It was mainly a control-based win, but it's what she should have done for what she has against Tiburcio. Great win for Hamasaki. I think Hamasaki should get Amber Brown or Jody Escobar next. Tiburcio, I mean, let's get Catherine Costigan, Jinyu Frey. Who else is that? Liz McCarthy. You know, it's tough for me to say. I'm just gonna like spit out names, you know. So next fight after that, Penny Kianzad defeated Jessica Rose Clark by unanimous decision. Kianzad pretty much just beat Rose Clark everywhere. Her left hook was on point. Her Grappling was on point. Jessica Rose Clark is tough. I kind of thought she would be the tough, like her toughness would last her, not get her finished. But she was pretty outmatched here. She just needs work, just a lot of work. That's fine. It's to be expected. Penny, though, solid stand-up game. Seems to be improving there. Her grappling's greatly improving as well. So, she fights at she's a pretty well-rounded fighter for 135 pounds. If she gets a title shot against Evinger, hey, that works, actually. There's some hype behind Kianzad. She's also the Cage Warriors fighting champion. So, yeah, just good one for Kianzad. Title shot for her next, possibly. Like I said, there aren't this huge amount of options, so it's going to be really hard for me to say who some of these fighters should fight next, really. And like I said, with Jessica Rose Clark, just needs a lot more work. There's something there, I think. She's at the very least always in the fight. So, seeing a better kicking game and setting up her kicks would actually help her. She looks like a pretty strong kicker. I think there's something there with her, but she needs a lot more work. Next fight after that, Amber Brown defeated Catherine Costigan by rear naked choke in the first round. Amber Brown showed why she is the bully. I kind of figured that the fight would turn out like this. Just not in the sense of how it turned out, but just in Amber Brown using her strength and really just bullying Costigan. I did see Amber Brown utilize her clinch knees, which I thought she would to great effect against Costigan. But once she got that takedown and mount, and then the ground and pound, and then that's the final rear naked choke, it was over. She seriously bullied Costigan. There's not much I can say about Costigan, too. She's technical enough, but she isn't particularly strong. She doesn't have too much pop in her strikes. She is pretty good on the ground, but man, did Amber Brown shut her down there. I really like what I see out of Amber Brown. She's on a good win streak. If she fights Hamasaki next, I think that would be probably one of the better fights to do. Give her Escobar. Like I said, it's so tough to say. Next fight after that, Jamie Moyle defeated Amy Montenegro by split decision. So it was a real close fight, and it was a good fight, too. I liked it a lot. Striking was good. I felt that Moyle was landing the harder strikes and the harder counters. Montenegro had a lot more volume and combination striking. She didn't hit as hard. It looked like Montenegro had a size advantage, and it kind of showed, especially when they're pinned up against the fence. Montenegro always managed to put Moyle's back against the cage. Moyle would get out, spin out, but then a lot of times Montenegro would put her back against the cage again. So one thing about Moyle is I'm really high on her on a technical level. She's really good. She can take the back well. She wrestles well. She strikes really well. She's a pressure fighter, but she's also small for 115. Can't help to think she'd do better at 105. If she's planning to go to the UFC, though, she has to stay at 115. So it's one of those weird things. Still very high on her, but definitely the size thing. I think moving forward is going to hurt Moyle. She pretty much got out-clinched. She's pretty strong in the clinch herself. She throws good knees there and whatnot, but she barely won this fight. Amy Montenegro, though, really showed her gameness in this fight. I didn't really expect too much from her. I did know she does. If you watch her last fight against Van Buren, she pretty much utilized a heavy clinch and clinch striking game. So that is her strength as well. with Moyle. Strawweight's got some good competitors for Moyle. Moyle's been there for a while. So she should probably get like a Deanna Bennett or maybe a Sharon Jacobson next. And finally, Amber LeBrock defeated Marina Shafir by TKO 37 seconds in the first round. I think it's safe to say that Marina Shafir is kind of a bust of a prospect. At 145 pounds, she's still 27 years old. Doesn't have a lot of fights. Maybe she can get better, but she's got to make some improvements. Maybe I'm being a little too hard on her, but her game is just not suited for MMA. This is someone that got dropped, went for a leg. I don't know if she thought this was still judo or something, and just kept getting punched in the face until she was out. Her defense isn't very good. That's something about, and I hate to criticize Glendale fighting, but I see that with a lot of MMA fighters too. And her chin isn't that great. So there's a lot of knocks against Shafir here. I don't know what she can do about it either. She does have that judo and grappling game going on, but when it comes to striking, it's just not there. I'd recommend she moves to a different camp or something. Work on her defense, work on her movement. She moves straight back a lot of times. She's really squared up a lot of times. Once again, she comes from a boxing camp too. That's not exactly something you want to see out of their fighters from a boxing camp. So, good win for LeBrock. She's 27 years old. This is her first pro MMA fight. She's 3-1 as an amateur. Tall for a weight class, like 5'11". Good prospect, Good prospect. Hits hard, really long, really tall. Curious to see who they're going to give her next. With Marina Shafir, I don't know. I mean, you got to give her someone like pretty bottom of the barrel, really. Overall thoughts on Invicta FC. I like their product. I wish they had more shows. They have a big enough roster. The names on the roster are getting a lot more recognizable. Jamie Moyle, Evinger, Justina, Penny Kianzad's probably going to get up there. Amber Brown. They don't fight a lot. Like, when's the last time I saw Andrea KJB Lee fight? It's been a while. I want to see her fight. Alexa Grasso, she's fighting. That's good. I want to see them fight more. They don't put out enough shows. And even when they do put out shows, there's only 7 fights on the show. So, I don't know if there's something they can do about that. They have a good product. Their pacing's not too bad. They really are I want to say kind of like the standard bearer for women's mixed martial arts, pretty much. You can actually say that for the UFC, but, you kind of get an idea of where each division is going through Invicta FC. Like, okay, well, Amber Brown, okay, hey, atomweights are looking pretty good these days, Got Moyle, Alexa Grasso at strawweight. All these fighters are probably going to go to the UFC one day, and you kind of get an idea, okay, well, this is where they're at right now in the regionals, how good are they or how not good are they. Get to see what prospects are coming up in the division. Now we got Amber LeBrock at 145. Jamie Moyle's still around. Amber Brown's really made a statement there. Penny Kianzad. We got a new champion. We have 2 new champions here in Hamasaki and Evinger. So we really get an idea of... we learn a lot about women's mixed martial arts through Invicta FC. I feel, at least. So... good stuff from them. Look forward to the next show. Huge fan of Alexa Grasso. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my post-fight analysis for Invicta FC 13. If you have any comments, just leave them below. That's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.